When you think about the future of work, you probably think of Silicon Valley, right? Well, forget that. The most fascinating experiment is actually happening inside a prison in Maine. Let's get into this story because it's a wild one.
So, meet Preston Thorpe. He's a senior software engineer, been coding since he was just 13 years old. And he gets it. The tech world, it's pretty much a meritocracy. All that matters is, can you do the work? Can you write the code? And for him, that one simple fact has been an absolute lifesaver.
Get this. Preston is making over $100,000 a year. He's even bought a house. But here's the kicker. He's doing it all from his cell at the Mountain View Correctional Center. Yeah, where he's been incarcerated for over a decade.
That sounds impossible, doesn't it? So how on earth is this happening? And what could this mean for the entire idea of rehabilitation? That's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
The answer lies in this really groundbreaking program in Maine that is completely flipping the script on prison labor. It's a model that's turning a lot of heads, and believe me, it's for a very good reason.
Okay, just look at the difference here. On one hand, you have the traditional model. An ACLU report found that the average pay is about 13 cents an hour for, dead-end jobs. But then you have Maine's model. We're talking market rate wages, 10, 25, even more per hour for real 21st century skills like coding and grant writing. They're working for actual tech companies and nonprofits. It's just a different universe.
So what is this thing really? Well, it's a super secure system that lets vetted prisoners do real remote work for real companies. It isn't just busy work to pass the time, it's a genuine bridge to the digital economy.
And here's the nitty-gritty of how it works. Inmates actually apply for these jobs, and then they work on specially configured laptops in supervised areas. And when they say monitored, they really mean it. We're talking restricted internet, absolutely no social media, and literally every single keystroke is logged. It's this incredible balance between rock-solid security and actual real-world career experience.
This whole thing didn't just appear out of nowhere. Maine already had about 800 prisoners taking online college courses on those same secure laptops. So someone had this light bulb moment and asked a brilliant question. If they can go to school online, why can't they work online too?
But honestly, this program is about so much more than just the money. It's creating this amazing ripple effect that touches, pretty much everyone involved.
It's truly a win-win-win situation. The inmates, they get skills, they build up savings, and they get this incredible sense of purpose back. Their families get financial support, and the state gets paid for things like victim restitution, child support, and even room and board. Everybody benefits.
And here's where all that money goes. An inmate's earnings are automatically used to cover their obligations, but they still have enough to build real savings and support their families. Think about it. That's a level of accountability and contribution that is just plain impossible when you're making 13 cents an hour.
Which brings us right back to Preston Thorpe. He said he went from feeling completely hopeless, thinking his life was basically over, to now feeling like he has a real purpose. That psychological shift, man, that's the real magic of this program.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. A program this revolutionary, this different, it's not going to be without its challenges. So let's look at some of the tough questions that come up when you try to bring the modern economy inside a prison.
So for one, access is pretty limited right now. It's only for a small, very carefully selected group. And critics, they rightly ask, is the program actually working, or are you just picking the winners who would have succeeded anyway? And of course, security. That is a massive ongoing priority that they have to be on top of 24/7.
So yeah, there are some very real hurdles to figure out. But if they can navigate them, the payoff could be huge. Because what's happening in Maine, it's really part of a much bigger conversation about what prison is actually supposed to be for.
This number right here is just stunning. Studies of similar kinds of programs have shown they can cut recidivism. That's the rate people go back to prison after they're released, by as much as half. Turns out, when people leave prison with skills, with savings, and with a job lined up, they are way more likely to succeed.
And other states are definitely taking notice. Maine has become a total trailblazer here, and now you've got more than half a dozen other states looking into their own versions of this remote work model. You can see the idea is starting to spread.
But in the end, it all comes back to people, right? For Preston Thorpe, that six-figure salary is amazing, no doubt. But what he's most proud of, he says it's making his parents proud of him again. And you just can't put a price tag on that.
So we're left with this really fundamental question. What is prison for? Is it purely for punishment, or is it for unlocking potential? Maine's incredible experiment suggests that maybe, just maybe, it can actually be for both.